is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I am. I'm the living proof. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I am. Who the fuck are you?
Hey guys, welcome to EAF. We are just rolling into these episodes. I hope you guys are enjoying them. I am Deanna Kozak. I am your host. I'm in real estate in Southern New Jersey. And this is my co-host, Joel Richardson of Soul Joel Productions and brick and mortar Soul Joel's Comedy Club and Lounge. You can download and listen to us on the YouTube channel at Soul Joel TV. You can find us on our social media channels, Soul Joel TV on Facebook, Instagram, and you can also download this as a podcast and listen to it. I know a lot of people like to go for walks, especially right now. Don't think that you have to just watch it. You can listen to iTunes, wherever you get your podcast. Download it, give it a listen. Today, we're coming at you with lots of energy. I'm dressed for my workout later. I didn't do it this morning. But we are going to be talking about how staying healthy and fit.
I had to stop you. For anybody that is if anybody is listening to us on iTunes or Google Play or Stitcher, however you're listening to us, you have to go on Soul Joel TV, either on YouTube or on Facebook, and watch how animated Deanna is. She goes, you can listen, and we're going to bring you lots of energy.
As I'm running, I'm doing the running arms.
Yeah.
If you're still listening and not watching, I'm doing the running arms.
With her twin daughter cribs in the background of her studio.
Yeah, their room has the best natural lighting. So Joel, I want to start it off.
Back to you, Deanna.
Yeah, it's always back to me. You and I were both athletic, I would say. I mean, our parents were both athletic. Athletics was just something that kind of was instilled in us from a young age. You and I were both high school athletes, college athletes, and we still both love to run. So I have a question for you. Who holds the fastest family marathon time? I'll wait.
Well, I didn't realize that we were going to come out swinging at this episode.
We'll get to the in a couple seconds. I just want everybody to know who's listening or watching, who holds the fastest family marathon time. Go ahead.
The fastest is you. The first one to complete one was me. Then you did it.
That's not what I asked.
And the one who's done the most is also me. But
I've also done an ultra.
We're having fun.
Yeah. So let's just keep topping each other. So, okay. So obviously, as you guys know, Joel and I are extremely competitive. Both type A personalities. So I don't think not working out was ever, but I think we've kind of both waxed and waned. I have 4 kids. So, I've been through, 3 pregnancies. One of them was a twin pregnancy. Joel has had, his ups and downs, but I think we can both agree that working out, staying fit has helped us stay focused. It gives us a clearer mind. It helps us maintain stress levels, which when you're self-employed, can be huge. So it's not just like, because you don't want to have a heart attack, which is great, or you want to just be more productive in life. I think staying healthy and fit can also help you as an entrepreneur because there's a lot of stress and other, things. You have to have a lot of energy and you have to constantly be motivated.
Yeah, well, for people who might not be familiar with me, I've been an entrepreneur for 11 years, even though November 1st was the first time that, like you said, I opened up my own brick and mortar comedy club. But since then, I've lost 30 pounds. And that's how people keep asking me, you have employees now, you have, a rent to pay. How do you deal with it? And it's because I'm able to de-stress a lot better because of the weight loss and working out, and it clears my mind. And like you said, through everything, running has always been the one thing in my life that not only clears my head, but reduces my stress.
Yeah. And I think for both of us getting back into it, like when you started working out again, it was just one day I was like, hey, let's go for a run. And for me, after each of my pregnancies, it was just giving myself like a lot of grace. And, sometimes even if you're just starting out, just make it a walk, just go for a walk. Or if you need motivation, join a class, join a gym, find a motivation buddy. Like you, our younger sister, Laura, and I have that group text, the three sisters. For those of you who don't know, he had on when we went camping with our dad, he had on dress pants, dress shoes, and I was like, who comes camping in dress pants and dress shoes? So we started calling him the third sister. But we have a group text where we kind of motivate each other. Like, I worked out today, I did this. So find a workout buddy, find someone that motivates you, find something you enjoy doing, whether it's
and stop right there. I was going to school full time to get my master's, my MBA, and working full time. I had a weekend class, and I came directly from class to go camping. You girls both wanted me to jump out of the car like I was G.I. Joe, ready to go camping in camouflage. I mean, give me a break.
I think you had to go to the store, though, and buy suitable attire.
Back to you, Deanna.
So just, guys, it's such an important life tip, especially if you're looking to run your own business. Keep your energy levels up, stay focused. And our guest today is going to be Liz from CoreFit in Royersford, who is no stranger to fitness. We're super excited to have her come on, talk to us a little bit about this. So without further ado, guys, please welcome Liz.
Hi. Hey.
How are you?
Oh, I'm great. How are you?
You have infectious energy, and like I was saying, I love the video that you made with all of your staff and staying hope and telling your customers how much you miss them. It's very inspirational.
Yeah, I do. I really miss everyone. I think this time has brought a lot of people forward in the good and the bad, right? So I see a lot of people struggling, a lot of my members struggling emotionally right now. So that's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking not to be able to do anything. So whatever we can do right now to help them, kind of lift them up, is what I'm all about that right now. For everybody, really, not outside of CoreFit as well.
Yeah, because you guys you had your own place, and then you relocated. And when you walk into the Royersford location, just the way you designed it, it's very meticulous, and you really have good energy whenever you walk in. You have the sayings on the walls.
Yeah,
very nice.
It's so funny because everyone has always. I'm also a mindset coach too, so that's big for me. And the people that I surround myself with, and the energy that everybody brings forward, really makes up the energy of your business. So when people walk into the studio, they're like, oh my God, that you can feel the good energy there. And I never used to believe it. And I'm like, oh my God, like all this like energy, frequency, vibration shit is real, right?
Yeah.
People talk about it.
I went to the supermarket the other day, and I'm not easily rattled, and going to the supermarket is pretty easy for me. But like when I came home, I was drained. And it was cool. I stood in line. I went into the supermarket, but like Joel and I talk about it, like it's like it was like an energy vampire.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, there's an energy vibration that you give off. And I used to always think it was like woo-wei stuff. I'm like, I am never going to admit that. I can't tell people I believe in this stuff, because they're going to think I'm crazy. They're like, woohoo, you went off the rocker. And I'm like, that's fine. Like now I'm proud of it, because now I'm like, yeah, I am a little crunchy granola woo-wei kind of person, because I feel people's energy so strongly. And I can only work with certain people now too. Yeah. Because if they drain me, and that's something that I'm working on, because it's hard for me to have patience with that anymore. Because you're right. When you go into the grocery store, it's almost like this heaviness that you feel around you.
I was so exhausted.
Other people. Yeah.
I just wanted to I got home and my kid, I could just I wanted to scream and yell.
It almost suffocates you a little bit, I want to say, like you can feel that, and it almost pulls you back and brings you, it starts to bring you down. So you have to combat that.
I had to put everything away and recenter and get my mind right. I was like, do I have to burn some sage the kitchen right now? Joel and I believe in all of that.
Look, you just have a glass of vodka and sage, and you're good.
In the freezer. I do have some. It doesn't get touched much, but I have it in the freezer. Not that I could say that out loud. People are chomping at the bit for alcohol right now.
I know.
I see people and I'm like, do something else, man. I'm like, that bottle of vodka has been in the freezer for probably over a year now.
I know. But you know what? It really resonates with the whole topic today, because you can either feed yourself, your mind, your body with alcohol, with gambling, with drugs, with anything, with negativity, with drama, or you can feed yourself with positivity, proactive, solution-centric. Like that's like you can either pivot one or two ways. Yep. And I think that it's really important as an entrepreneur to train yourself to pivot in that direction. And I've had to train myself that way. I was never like this. I've had to study it, and I've had to wake up every day and have like morning habits to change what's in here.
It's a conscious effort. I told Joel that when all this coronavirus stuff started, I said, you have two choices right now. It's like you can either start to spiral, and once you start, you're probably not going to stop into that deep negativity hole and go hide and hope that your business and your club is still there when you crawl out of that hole. Right. Or you can man up and fight, come out swinging.
I told my manager, I said, my big girl panties are big girl panties. Like I have huge, they were like covered all the way up today. I'm like, I really had to put on, because I've had to make decisions that are hurting people that I work with, like staff. Like, it's not just about me and my business and having it there, but I have staff members that their husbands lost their job. I was a little bit of income that I can give them, and I can't even give them all that. Right. You know what I mean? So like you really have to pivot, and you're like, look, I'm either going to freaking come out of this shit and I'm going to be stronger and I'm going to do something. And it's all what you vision. I believe in that. Like I envision myself back in my studio, welcoming everyone. I can see it. I can feel it. And every morning I get up, and that, to me, self-care and mindset are number one. And part of my self-care is working out, because that's what gets that stress out of me. But if you can make yourself get up, even if you have to get up early, I meditate, I do my journaling, I do all of my mindset. I still learn from my mentors. Like I learn from the best mindset coaches in the industry, because I need to still learn and grow, right? Because you get hit with stuff like this. Like, how do we handle, like when this happened, I was just like, I think we were online in 2 hours of finding out, because my mind, thank God for my coaches, because they trained me to be able to pivot my mind right to like, okay, what's the solution here? Because the problem's going to be here. The stimulus is the problem. The virus isn't going anywhere. It's how we respond and react is over here. So you have all this space in the middle of taking a breath. Okay, how do I respond?
The virus is a constant right now. Everything else is a variable. So
exactly.
I haven't been to your new club. I have to be honest. I want to get there, but I haven't been there yet. But I actually came when you were at like that warehouse, your other location.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Years ago, I took like a yoga class there. So obviously you said this is not where you started. This wasn't like your tipping point. Like, tell us, were you always in the fitness industry? Were you always self-employed? Tell us about Liz pre-CoreFit and how you got to the point where you are today.
Oh my God, it's so funny. No, I was not always in the fitness industry. I started working out when I was in college, and I started lifting weights. I actually didn't go to college for fitness or kinesiology or anything like that. So I've never really, I was athletic a little bit in high school, but nothing crazy. And I started working out after I got out of college, and I went into the corporate world. And I'm not a corporate person. You know what I mean? Like I'm not, I just couldn't deal with all the bullshit in the corporate world, to be honest with you. Right. So, I was married at that point, and I was like, oh my God, what can I do? So I started, I had gained a little weight from my pregnancy. So I started working out. My husband at the time got me equipment, and I started with step. Remember when step classes were really popular?
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So Cher, you remember Cher with the long shirt? So she did a step video. So I was like, I'm going to get the step video right now. I was like a little bit heavier at the time because I just had a baby, and I'm in my basement with my oversized t-shirt doing this step video to rock and roll music with Cher. And I fell in love with it. I was like, oh my God, I really love this. So my sister is really one of the people that is the reasons that I've gotten into this business, because I was on the phone with her one day, and I was like so hard-headed at that point. Like, this is before I did mindset or anything. And I was like, don't tell me I can't do something because I'm Italian, and I will say F you, and I will go and prove it to you. Right. That was my old mindset. Right. And she's like, I said, I think I want to be a step instructor. And she just kind of laughed out loud because it was so unlike me. I can understand why she did it, because she was like, really? What are you talking about?
Kind of sort of athletic and
right, but
and we're in the corporate world.
And I never worked out. So she's like looking at me like, are you crazy? And it something struck inside of me. And I'm like, well, yeah, now I got to go and be a fitness instructor now, because she said I couldn't be one, right?
I'm going to open a studio.
So actually I went into that. I fell in love with it. And every time I wasn't very good when I started. So I would go and sub for like other people, and people would walk out of my class because I was really pretty bad. And I used to get so mad. I was like, fine. I'm like, right. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to come back and kick your ass now. Right. So I did. And then what happened? Then I got divorced. And when I got divorced, it was either, look, I either do this for a living and make it work, or I go back into the corporate world and I have no skills. Right. So that was my pivot of, I don't have a choice. But what happened after that? Like, now when I look back and I'm like, oh my God, the beautiful things that happened after that. Like, I look at my studio now, I go up every day now just to turn the heaters on, to make sure all the plumbing's working. And, it is my studio, so I can work out there. I'll meet my daughter and we'll work out. Right. But I stand there and I look at it and I'm like, wow, if I didn't go through all that stuff and the hard times in my life to make me stronger to do it. But that's how I got into fitness. And then it just kind of snowballed from there.
And they call that a beautiful mess.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
That's the push that you needed.
It was. And now I look at it, I'm like, I'm very spiritual also. So I'm a big believer in God. Like, whatever God puts in my life, there is a lesson and a reason, no matter how horrible it is or how hurtful it is. There's something to learn from it. So I looked at all that, and I wouldn't be the person I am today. I wouldn't have met the people I've met. I wouldn't have touched the people's lives I've touched. I wouldn't have grown as a human being if I didn't do that.
It's funny to look at that stuff in hindsight, because you always think of when you're going through whatever you're going through, why did that happen, or why did this happen? And it all leads you to where you're at today.
Right. Even now, like what we're going through now, even Joel, what you're going through, I mean, your business just opened up. I mean, seriously.
November 1st. Yeah.
And you were doing like amazing. Cause I know when my family and I came, I said to my family, I'm like, he's going to do amazing. He's going to do great, because it's such a great comedy club and it's so needed in our area. Yeah. And then when this hit, and I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about Brian and Janine, and, Erica and Lindsay and all the businesses. And I'm like, you know what, we're all going to be okay, because we all have that mindset of we're going to do this somehow. Well, we're making it through.
Well, it's funny. Deanna and Joey and I, we all have this saying that it says our team is strong. One thing I've noticed with you is that your entire staff has kind of implemented what you'd have. Like, it's good, that good energy, that's just a positive vibe. So is that something that you kind of train them, or it's something that you look into them, see in them?
No, I think it's that energy. It's that when you meet someone, I think you feel it. You feel their vibe. Are they a really, really good person in their heart and soul? Yeah. And that's what I go by. Like, I remember sitting down with one of my instructors, and she just was so us and such a good person. I said to my manager, Brooke, I'm like, we have to have her on our staff. Right. I said, I didn't even know how good she was as an instructor. I was like, she has to be part of us because of her. There's just an energy about people that you feel and you gravitate toward, and you have to have them. And I know being an owner, am I the owner? Yeah, it's my business, but you're only as good. Your team members have to feel like it's their business too.
It's funny. You didn't even see her in action. You didn't look at her resume, might not even know her last name. You just went with that gut instinct and the energy she was going off of. You're like, she's got to be a part of our team.
I was like, I don't know if she's a good instructor, but what?
You can train her to be a good instructor. You can't train her to be a good person.
Yes.
I think that's really important.
Yeah. But all of my instructors too, I think because I do mindset work and I talk about it all the time, you can see some of them shifting towards it without really saying anything. And then other ones are doing it without saying it. Like I could see the shifts in everybody. But I also think that you have to be an example of that first.
100%.
You know?
So all of that healthy living, like, working out, eating healthy, mindset stuff. I mean, when people, like you said, when people are self-employed, you have to envision it, live it, be the example. Like, what are some little like tips and tricks that you can give people that maybe they don't want to be self-employed, but maybe they just want to get healthy in general? Like what would you say to people to, like, your top tips to kind of help people?
I would definitely say one of the biggest things I see a big mistake in our industry is do what you love to do. There's people out there that promote, oh, CrossFit's the only way of doing things. Oh, yoga's the only thing. Oh, you have to do this. You have to do strength training. You have to do what gets you up and moving and what makes you feel good in your body. That is so important. I think everybody has it backwards. You know what I mean? People are trying to toot their own horn and like, you have to join I tell people all the time, I'm like, if you don't feel good in CoreFit, there's 5 other studios out here that maybe you'll fit good into.
Yep.
Go and fit into one of those. Just go find your home where you feel accepted and a part of, because that's why you're going to work out.
Oh, and I don't want to interrupt. I want you to keep flowing, but I just want to interject real quick. For me, having 4 kids too, somewhere that I feel at home is important, but you also have childcare.
Right. Yes.
That's right.
So if I'm going to take classes, that's huge for me, because I don't want to have to like have a babysitter at home just to go take a class.
I know.
A place that has childcare is huge.
Yeah.
So love it, enjoy it, feel at home.
Yeah.
But it also helps if you have childcare for someone like me.
Oh yeah, it does. And it helps if you have a lot of, like, I have a lot of variety at the studio because I like different workouts. I don't like to just do one thing. So I like to pivot and do those things. But I do think you have to find what your body feels good doing. But I do think you have to do self-care. I cannot stress your morning routine. Like if you get up, I don't even look at my phone anymore. Like I go right to my computer, I put on my meditation thing and I zen out.
We know how long it took you to respond to the email.
So I was like, I got lost in it the other day. I did like 40 minutes and I was like, holy shit, this quarantine shit is good, because I've never done 40 minutes of meditation. I was like in a zone. I was like vegging out. I felt so good. I'm like, what's going on in the world? But I am just such a big, and people say they don't have time. I used to get up when I was on my schedule. I used to get up at 5:30 instead of 6 because my meditation became part of my routine.
And it could be 5 minutes, right? Like I have my kids,
yes.
I just get up before my kids get up in the morning, and I read the paper, I have my coffee, I write in my journal like you.
Mm-hmm.
I do my positive affirmations. I have oils that I put on that I do my affirmations with, and then that's how I flow. But sometimes it's 30 minutes, sometimes it's 45, sometimes it's 5.
Exactly.
Self-care doesn't have to be this like spa day thing. That's what people kind of, I think, have got it twisted. They're like, I don't have time for self-care. I'm like,
it could be 3 minutes. Yeah.
Right. It could be literally closing your eyes, saying a positive mantra, and then starting your day.
Yeah. I think that was huge what you just said, because everyone says they get very rigid in what you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this workout, you have to. And I'm like, let me tell you what, I couldn't shut my mind off to meditate. I'm like, this meditation is bullshit. This is freaking stupid. And I'm like, okay. And my mind kept going. And I did it for I started with a Kundalini, because Kundalini has mantras and you do stuff with your hands. So for me, I had to because I'm Italian, I have to keep moving. Right.
Oh, that's me.
Right? So I'm like, and I was like, wow, this really works. So I started with 3 minutes and then I went to 11 minutes. Now I can do it with none of that, because I trained my mind to do it. But I think you're right. I think it doesn't matter what works for you. And I think that's the biggest thing in fitness and life. What works for you is not going to work for me. What works for me is not going to work for Joel.
And what guided meditations, for everybody listening, what ones do you prefer? Like, which ones do you use?
I do all different people. I do Gabby Bernstein. I'm a huge lover.
I love her. I made Joel listen to which one was it, Joel? Oh, The Universe Has Your Back.
Yep.
Oh, yes. I have all those. I have her whole membership thing with all of her thing. I'm reading her Super Attractor book right now.
I read that one. That was good.
Yeah. I love her. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Okay.
He's very sciencey, very, very intelligent man, but very sciencey about the brain and how the brain works. He's one of my favorites. His meditation was a little funky for me at first, but then I started to like it once I started to get into it. Sometimes I just YouTube anything. This morning I YouTube just a music. Okay. And I close my eyes to that, which is very rare for me. This is a new thing for me because I was very much of a, Kundalini is more like it would give you a mantra of like, you would have to do peace resides within me. Peace resides within me.
And repeat it 108 times or whatever.
Right.
It is.
Right. So for me to sit with nothing, with no music or no words has been my new challenge, but I'm finding that I enjoy it. So I would say YouTube, start with like a Gabby Bernstein, start with anyone that you follow. Like there's so many meditation mindset people out there. You can just start I just started looking for them and I try it.
Esther Hicks is one of my favorites.
Yes.
That's one of like the OGs of vibrations and energy.
Vibration. Yeah. Yes. Anything vibration and energy. And I talk about it now. And it's so funny because I'm like so proud. I'm almost like overly proud. I'm like, yeah, that's right. I'm a little crunchy granola. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a little woo. My kids laugh at me because my kids will be like, yeah, okay, Mom, the universe. Right. And I'm like, but you're listening. You're listening, right. And one day you'll be
like that. Joel used to be like that, and then I had him a couple times put some. There's an oil called Abundance, and I had him put it in his hand, and he would breathe it in, and I said, "Say, put out." I go put. It was right before he would leave my house, and he was visiting, and I said, "Okay, do this, and then you don't have to say anything. Just breathe it in and put out in the universe what you want to happen." Yes. And then he did it like 2 or 3 times, like different weeks, and he goes, "Deanna, every time I do that, and then I leave your house." He goes, something good happens to me.
Yeah.
He goes, what is that you're doing? And I'm like,
I would get a phone call. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It freaks you out when you start, that's what we call in mindset free nature. When things start to flow and there's this fluidity and all the people kind of line up in your life and all these situations start happening. And you're like, oh my God, you feel like you're in this other universe,
When you start paying attention too. And there's always like, there's signs everywhere.
Yeah.
You just have to pay attention to them.
Yes, I agree.
Nothing is by accident. Everything's, even if, like you said, even if it's bad, like a lot of people their mindset is getting down in the dumps, but you have to figure out, okay, well, how can we turn this around and how is this going to be a lesson? And that's something that we had an interior designer on our last podcast. And she actually said something that resonated with me because when I send out the questions to our guests, I ask what your biggest success and your biggest failure is. And she goes, I don't like to think of them as failures.
Right.
She's like, I like to think of them as learning experiences.
Yes.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I'm going to start saying. So with that, like, what would you say is your biggest success and your biggest learning experience?
It's so funny because when you ask that question, you're like, your biggest failure. And I'm like, well, I haven't had a failure ever because they're all stepping stones.
I have to edit that. I have to put biggest learning experience.
Right. But they are.
Okay. Failure, if you want to think of it that way.
I think they're all stepping stones, but I think my biggest was more of a personal situation that I had to pivot in that situation and become so strong within myself to handle it that it made me a better boss. It changed everything in my life. And this was like 3 years ago that just happened. And it was something that was very emotional, very, I want to say the word devastating, but it really wasn't devastating, but it knocked me off my chair. Like I didn't think anything could really knock me, and this knocked me. And I was like, either I can wake up and cry every night about this, or I can get the fucking my shit together even more. Sorry for the language, but you know what I mean? Like
I think we get the point.
Yeah, but you either pull up your socks and your panties and you get so strong within yourself because you have to be there for other people and you have to handle things. And, I had a business to run at the time. And that was, it was when my manager sat down with me and she said, Liz, this has affected you so much. The business is started to go down a little bit. And she started crying, and my manager doesn't cry at all. And I just was like, it's okay. It's okay. I know how much you love CoreFit. And that was my biggest turning point. That was my biggest stepping stone. And I was like, you know what?
Take you out. Like, I think in strengthening yourself, mind, body, and soul, for everybody listening, I mean, from my perspective, everything you've said during this interview, strengthening yourself, mind, body, and soul helped you you got knocked down, but you didn't stay there. You were able to rise and get back up and learn from it.
Yeah. And I think that's the one thing that people need to understand is that you either suffocate in the emotion of all this stuff, right? And you go down a rabbit hole, and it's like a spiral rabbit hole.
Oreos, and you just and you binge watch shows,
right? And then you start getting into the drama around you in the world, and it gets a bigger tumbleweed, and you just can't get out of it. Or you say, I'm gonna come out a better person. Like, what do I have to learn?
My AirPods, go for a walk, listen to some positive mindset stuff, take a breather. Go sit in the corner for 3 minutes by myself, go for a run, do a workout video at home if I can't get out of the house. And that's it.
Yeah. And it's sad. It's kind of sad to see the world so backwards with a lot of this stuff. Like, I think health and fitness, I think mindset, I think education in our schools, for our kids should be learning this stuff in schools.
Not just gym class, it should be. Like, I had to go, like my daughter, I taught her about, she loves to bake, and they're kids, so they love treats, but like, you know, I restrict them to like a couple desserts a week. And I had to show her, I was like, you're only supposed to have this many grams of sugar a day, and look how many is in this or juice, and then she started looking at labels, and I'm like, it's not about, I'm like, how do you feel after you eat that? It's not just about bad food, good food. It's about how it makes you feel. She's an athlete. She swims every day when swimming is allowed, you know. But yeah, she's an athlete. So I'm like, your body's going to move better. You're going to be clear. You're going to have more energy, and teaching her how food fuels her body.
Yeah.
And when that's bad for you, that's going to make you fat.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to try to use that word in my house because
And when you
parents don't know that, they don't teach that.
I know. And they don't teach, one of my instructors, the one that I didn't know she taught, I just loved her. She does mindset also, and she does it with our kids now. And it's her.
I saw you at kids classes, which is pretty cool for like.
She's amazing with our kids and mindset. And we do like a half an hour workout and a half an hour mindset with the kids about how is school? How is the bullying at school? How is your mindset? Like, what can you do differently? So I think education in our society like should be with our kids first. Like, teach them how to take care of that, how to be positive. We count our wins on my member page. I started counting our wins. I'm like, you have so many wins within a day. Like, right here sitting with you guys, this is a huge win for me. It just made me feel so good. It's so happy. It's so good to see you, Joel. I mean, it really is. Like, I want to freaking hug you so bad right now.
We love having you on. We've had so many good guests, and everybody just has been bringing like this amazing energy. And like, we were going to start this originally. We had this idea in December. And we were going to start this podcast in June, but we were like, well, everybody's got some time. So
absolutely,
we just kind of moved everything up a couple months because of what happened.
Yeah.
And we're just enjoying having everybody on here to give like say you're not alone. And if you own your own business, or if you're just struggling in general, because everything that's kind of relevant to like an entrepreneur with hustle and mindset, I think you can even take the entrepreneur part out, and the self-employed part out, and it can just help you be better at life.
Oh my God. Yeah. And to me, fitness and nutrition, like if I don't eat right, my mind goes down. Like I start to feel a little bit of negative. If I don't work out, I start to feel that. So for me, I don't care if you walk, just go and walk, get that fresh air. Like you'll feel instantly the pivot of just changing where your situation is if you just get outside in the fresh air and go and do something good for your body.
And it's not even an overhaul. Maybe just drink water one day instead of iced tea or soda or water or whatever, or juice. Like just switch to water, or just eat one apple.
I know. And that's the other thing is they go to extreme. Like you can't have any bread or pasta. I'm like, oh, geez, come on.
I had pasta last night.
I'm like, if you're going to McDonald's every day, right? Go to McDonald's, three times a week, right? Don't take that away from them, because when you take things away from people like that, you're not teaching them new habits,
Right.
and forming that, something and letting them feel it. It's just, I think our fitness industry has gotten very trendy and very backwards. Like, we have people in the industry that think it's cool to open a business, and they're opening things up on every other corner. And there's so many other things involved in it. There's that love for it, and the the safety of it. And there's so many other things that it's kind of taken out of context now. But I'm hoping that with all of this, it'll come back stronger, where people will be like, yeah, this is a priority now. Like,
yeah.
And you offer so many things at your club. Are you doing anything right now, like online? Are you guys doing streaming for your members, for other people? What are you kind of doing to pivot with that? And then what do you offer? I kind of know just from peeking around online, but like, what do you offer after you're open when all this kind of dust settles?
Yeah, we went online Thursday night. I found out at 3:00. I didn't even know. I don't watch the news. So my manager's like, I think we have to shut the gym down. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, you got to shut. I'm like, shit. We went into the gym that night and we filmed, and we were online that night. So our whole membership was online Thursday night, I guess the 12th, March 12th. Yep. And we had to pivot, really. We had a couple of days of like, oh my God, what are we going to do? So we do 2 live workouts a day. Okay. One is either strength boxing or HIIT. And then we follow it up with yoga or yin. And then we save all those videos, and then I file them. It's like a private Facebook page for our members. So we probably have like 30 yoga videos filed from when we started. So then if you can't get up in the morning and do a live workout with us, they're in the archive. So you can go anytime during the day and work out. So the members, we're all online. I'm doing some mindset work online. So we're counting our wins every night, our gratitude, just to get the synaptic connections in your brain. Reformulating. We do a post every morning, something positive post. We had a core challenge. We had a yoga challenge. We have our kid fits on there. We have a little bit of nutrition. So we've pivoted the whole business to online right now. So when I'm actually working right now on looking at some things for when we open back up, because I am going to have
things online because people like it.
Yeah. And I think that my members, I have to give a shout out to my staff, first of all, because they have a positive mindset and they shift it. And they're just like, what can we do? What do we do? And my members are like, keep taking my membership out right now. Whatever you're doing online is great. And there's some people that had to cancel because of financial reasons. And I
testament to you and what you've built, and
they don't want to lose it. They don't want to lose it. So like, I'm hoping to bring them, gift back to them. I have a couple things right now I'm trying to like line up so I can give them back for keeping us alive right now. But I also want to do some kind of on-demand. I'm looking at different platforms right now to have that as another membership option. But also when we open up, we're not going to be able to open up the same, I'm sure.
Full capacity, right?
So I want to I'm trying to pivot now of how we're going to handle that when we come over, because obviously, I can't have 50 classes a day because payroll won't sustain that. So there's that financial end of the business, and then what I want to give to people. So I'm trying to actually work right now is what I'm doing, is trying to pivot and get ready for when I open, so that I'm not like, what the hell do I do now?
You're trying to foresee. And that's kind of what Joel's doing too, is, if we have to open at this capacity or that capacity, and you're putting your ducks in a row, and we're actually getting done a lot of projects for the club that we're kind of like, Soul Joel TV and a lot of things that we're going to be launching. It was going to be like summertime when comedy gets slow, but now all those projects just went to the forefront. And then once the club is able to reopen, then you can just deal with what that's going to entail.
But if you look at that, like that's a certain mindset too. Like what you just said is exactly like pivoting. Like, so there's a reason that you're doing this now. And then you see it 6 months later, you're like, wow, that was really cool that we did that 6 months ago. Like, look what happened now. You know what I mean?
It's all stuff that we wanted to, it's all stuff that we're going to get done eventually. We're going to do this in June or July, but it's like, okay, we just kind of flip-flopped it.
Yeah. Yeah. God always has a way. He's always like, look, I know you don't want to do this shit right now, but here, I'm going to put this virus in the way here. So now you got to get this stuff done. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, a little timeout.
Yeah, right. I was like, my goodness. I was like, but all through like, thousands of years, I mean, God's been kind of doing that, like putting things in the way and, leprosy and Noah's Ark.
Absolutely.
I haven't read the Bible in a while. I go to church every Sunday, but I don't, but like, it's always something in the way. And that's kind of how we respond to it and kind of getting people to maybe slow down.
Yes.
And realize what's important. It was kind of like a big red stop sign, like stop flexing on Instagram with all your clothes and your trips and your stuff. And like, maybe realize that it's like your mind, your body, your soul, your family, laughter, all those things are like, take care of yourself. That's what's important.
100%. Yeah.
Like,
I think
your Gucci purse on Instagram is not going to bring you happiness.
Yeah. Insta famous, I call it. I'm like, I said to talking to my manager today, I'm like, I love going on my member page on Facebook, but I could do without social media.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm just enjoying other things right now, which I'm like, wow, I'm like, this is kind of cool, to do other things. And I think society has gotten away from that connection, that human connection, and everything's been a facade. Because I was telling my daughter, I said, isn't it funny? Because there's no like all these big selfies of all these people. Look at me and my husband and my life and my why aren't they doing that now in their house?
That. Yeah.
Like, your husband and your wife and there's the same in your house. Why aren't you
right there in the other room?
Right. Right. Wouldn't you be posting like, hey, we just cooked this really cool dinner? But it's all like, there's none of that anymore. And there was all this
to them. I love it. I go for a walk 2 days a week with 2 days, twice a day with my kids and the dog. And it's great. It's fresh air. The dog loves it. The kids love it. Yeah. But we don't normally get to do that because it's like school, sports, activities, ba-bam, ba-bam, ba-bam. And by the end of the day, I'm like, talking to clients, and it's just draining all of it. Now,
and I do think fitness has been pushed. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
I think it's been pushed to the side a little bit. Oh, I don't have time for that. I'm like, dude, I spend an hour on myself in the morning, and then I go and work out, and then I get my work done. Yes, I own a gym. Is it easier for me to rearrange that schedule? Yes, it is. But at the same time, my day flows because of it.
Time management too. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Like your day, your priority should be your self-care.
Yep.
And then you will pivot and flow into that beautiful day, and all these things start to line up and fit into your day. And it's such a productive day.
That's my least favorite. When people say that, it just grates on my nerves. I don't have time. I'm like, no. You make time.
Exactly.
For what you want to make time for. Right. And that's like one of my mantras is like, never give up on something you want to do. And that can kind of segue us into, I have two last questions for you. And we usually ended it with one, but I added another because I was running the other day and I heard
you're the first guest that's getting two final questions.
So special.
And for those of us who can't see me right now, I have two fingers up because I love to talk with my hands because Joel and I are also Italian.
Yeah.
So I was running and I heard this song come up and I was like, oh my gosh. And I like wanted to start punching my arms and I'm like, everybody should have a theme song. So if you had a room full of people, the first question is, what would your one piece of advice, like they're like, Liz, you have one sentence, like 3 seconds, give this whole room full of 10,000 people advice. What would it be?
I think everybody can be unstoppable. I really do. Without a doubt.
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody is enough. You are enough who you are, and you're unstoppable.
I like that.
Human beings.
And then what would Liz's theme song be?
I don't have one.
Oh, come on. I thought mine would be Eye of the Tiger.
No, and you know why I don't have one is because music fuels me. and it all different. Like I've been listening to a lot of like cool Christian music lately because I'm very, and like that's been like thriving me. And then when I'm in the gym, I could do like headbanger. Like my daughter and I were listening to this like headbanger stuff my kids used to listen in high school that I hated. And I'm like, yeah, that's
what I need.
Right. And then I'll go and I'll do country music, and music resonates with me so much.
Depending on your activity and maybe the mood that you're in.
So
Yeah.
you would have a soundtrack?
I don't
Not a theme song? You would have a soundtrack?
You know, what's to talk about what Liz brought up earlier, where she visualizes that her business is going to be open and she's doing classes. If anybody's been to the comedy club, I created my own soundtrack. It's not really a song, but it's a rap song that comes out. It says, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. But it just happens right after the lights get lowered, the spotlight's on, and you know the show's about to start. You can even hear people go, all right. You can just feel that energy that's about to start. And then it goes right into some mellow, the song Soul Man, because, you know, I'm Soul Joel. So
that's awesome.
It's a fun little thing that happens. And in my head, that is the moment that I can't wait to. When I go back behind the curtain, I do a little fist bump with Joey. We explode it because that's how we do it. And I just want to hear it, bring them out. And I want to hear that whole place explode.
You're going to get goosebumps the first time that happens.
Because we're back. We're back, baby.
Yeah.
So, Liz, whenever people come back to this, where can they, if they want to like get back into their fitness when like all this kind of dust settles, where can they find you guys?
Well, our website is corefittraining.net, and we're also on Facebook.
Okay.
And we are right on Main Street in Royersford, 2 or 3 doors down from my best friend, Sweet Aloha. And I guess that's the easiest thing. We're on Instagram, CoreFit Training Studio. Easy to look up, easy to find us online.
For Pennsylvania. And if you guys are listening, you can find this podcast wherever you download them, on iTunes, social media platforms. Check us out on YouTube on Soul Joel TV. Once again, this is Liz from CoreFit. So if you're looking to get your mind, body, soul right, check out corefittraining.net. Is that right?
Yep.
CoreFitTraining.net. And this is Joel from Soul Joel Productions. I am Deanna Kozak. And this has been the 5th episode, I think, of EAF. So thank you for tuning in.
It's amazing.
Thank you for tuning in to Entrepreneurs. To stay up to date on future shows, follow Soul Joel TV on Facebook and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. See you next time, and always remember, respect the hustle.